Welcome back to the Missing 411 podcast. Tonight, we're setting aside the national parks and venturing far across the globe, across the Pacific, to a land both ancient and utterly unforgiving. The remote island state of Tasmania, Australia. Our research often uncovers disturbing patterns in the American wilderness, but tonight's case reminds us that the phenomenon we track knows no borders. This story, the disappearance of 31-year-old Belgian traveler Celine Cremer, also known as Selene Kramer, carries all the terrifying hallmarks we've come to recognize. Celine was a bright, curious soul, a photographer who was drawn to the world's quiet, untouched beauty. She had explored Europe, but her ultimate fascination lay in Australia's most mysterious and wild spaces. She settled in Tasmania for several months, seeking sanctuary from the noise of the modern world. Friends described her as adventurous, yet deeply introspective, someone who preferred the isolation of the landscape. In the first half of June 2023, her travels brought her near the old mining town of Warrada, a place already steeped in forgotten history and a strange, lingering silence. Her destination that day was Philosopher Falls, a spot famed for its serene track winding through the Tarine Rainforest. This wasn't a challenging Everest expedition. It was described as a simple 45-minute stroll. But this environment is unique, an ecosystem unchanged for millions of years, where the air is thick, perpetually damp, and alive with an unsettling, otherworldly quality. On Saturday, June 17, 2023, Celine set out for this short walk. She was self-reliant and independent, but that crucial independence meant she was traveling alone and, tragically, hadn't informed anyone of her specific route or timeline. Her vehicle, a white Honda CR-V, was later recovered, found parked right at the entrance to the Philosopher Falls track. Now, the official timeline begins to fracture, fitting the unnerving pattern we see so often in missing 411 cases. Celine was due to catch a ferry on June 21st, and when she missed it, her family became instantly alarmed. A formal report was filed on June 26th, and the car was found the very next day. Authorities determined the vehicle had been sitting there, untouched, since at least June 20th, aligning precisely with the last signal ping from her mobile phone. This established a terrifying search window. Celine had vanished in the Tasmanian winter, a period of freezing rain, snow, and biting cold, for a minimum of 7 days. The core profile fits the missing 411 criteria perfectly. An inexperienced hiker, equipped only for a light day trek, completely unprepared for the rapid, brutal winter conditions of the remote highlands. But the most chilling factor, the one that makes this case so unsettling, is the complete lack of physical evidence. An immediate, massive search was launched. They deployed every resource: ground crews, drones, helicopters, swiftwater rescue teams, and even specialized cadaver detection dogs flown in from New South Wales. Yet, after weeks of intensive searching, in an environment deemed not survivable by medical experts, absolutely no remains, no clothing, no items belonging to Celine were ever located. The ancient forest simply erased her. When the official search concluded, the family's desperation led them to a private investigator, Ken Gamble. He accessed Celine's Google account and extracted a shocking level of detail, over 40 GPS coordinates tracking her final movements until 4:18 p.m. on June 17th. This was a game-changer. It showed Celine didn't just fall off the main path. The phone data indicated a decisive yet bizarre, off-track movement. She left the main trail, crossed 7 Mile Creek, and began ascending toward higher, dense ground. This suggests she was misled, perhaps by a malfunctioning map app or some strange magnetic anomaly, directing her deep into the most unforgiving bushland, an area the initial police search had missed. Armed with this new, precise location, a 1-kilometer radius of her last known ping, subsequent private and police searches were conducted in 2024. Crews literally crawled through the undergrowth, fighting against a dense tangle where walking was impossible. Advanced LiDAR mapping was deployed, detecting anomalies, unusual coloring on the forest floor, but follow-up searches revealed nothing of significance. The anomaly was there and then it wasn't. This leads us to the unsettling element of the unexplained that often defines our cases. The question is no longer where she is because the GPS data is clear, but why she cannot be found within that small, precise grid. The environment itself seems to be actively concealing her. The area around Warada and Philosopher Falls, being an old mining region, is rife with dense mineral deposits, creating natural magnetic interference. This interference, combined with the deep, untrammeled ancient nature of the forest, has been linked by local folklore to what some call time slippage. Could this explain the vanishing in a contained area? We hypothesize that Selene, disoriented and perhaps fighting the elements, inadvertently stumbled into a phenomenon we term a dimensional rift. A temporary, localized fluctuation, an energetic instability fueled by the ancient land and mineral deposits. One moment, she was struggling in the dense Tarine forest. The next, she had simply crossed an invisible threshold into a space or time beyond our reality. This is the only rational explanation for an experienced search team failing to find any trace of a victim in a confined search grid. The environment itself, as the old interpretive signs warned, citing how moss-covered rotten branches could mask deep sinkholes, was not just a physical trap, but perhaps a metaphysical one, capable of swallowing unwary travelers without a trace. Selene Kramer's story is a profound, chilling addition to the patterns we investigate. It serves as a stark reminder of the forces at work in the deep wilderness, the forces that defy technology, defy logic, and defy closure. Her case is now cemented in the unsettling annals of the missing 411 file, another individual taken by the silence of the woods. We urge you to always respect the wilderness, never hike alone, and be prepared for the impossible. If you have any credible information regarding the disappearance of Celine Kramer, please contact Crime Stoppers Australia. Thank you for listening to the Missing 411 podcast. Join us next time as we explore another pattern of the unexplained.